going. So yeah, I got a little bit of a beep, beep, beep.
That was me testing.
Oh, got it. Okay, so nothing.
I'm glad you heard that.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Hey, onegaishimasu. Okay. Well, since they talked a lot about the floating bridge, heaven, earth, and there's kind of a connective thing. In other words, opposites, fire, water, but the bridge connecting. Okay. So one of the things, everybody up, yeah. And we'll see if this has any legs to it. But there's what you know. And some of you are really new, but there's also what you don't know. Okay, and one of the things about that bridge concept is if you don't know anything, that's what Bruce Lee called no form ignorance. But then there's what's called no form. Same words, but different slant. We call that transcendence. Okay, so for example, he grabs my wrist. So we do this movement, and we know it. But all of a sudden, for me, it's about what I don't know. Okay. Now I have to know something to tap into what I don't know. I know that's a contradiction. So we're kind of at a place where, the world is so uncertain. We don't know where it's going to go. Okay. Environmental things, war, and everything. But one of the things here, yeah, I know it, and I get trapped in a form. Now I have to know the form, but then there's a shift a little bit between that and what I don't know. Okay, which is what I know. Now, those Sensei calls that kind of the awareness side of it. I'm aware of it. What I don't know is more like the feel experience of something. So we try to do both. We educate you in knowing how to do a movement. But then again, we want to sort of get to where you're sort of comfortable with what you don't know, because that's where the real energy is. Okay? So when he's holding here, I know I'm supposed to relax, but the real experience is in the don't know of it. And I know, for example, here I'm going to, there's that little extra you add with that little, and then we have this motion. So some of you that are newer, we want to teach you so you know it, but the knowledge can run away with it. Knowledge gets rigid, okay? What you don't know is a process more in the moment of knowing. That's where the energy flows. Okay? So we'll start with our basic blend. This is an important one. I know the movement. But as I kind of settle a little deeper, I start to settle into what I don't know. I don't really want to know about the flow. I want to sort of stand in it, let it circulate. Okay, all right? Okay, so there's form. We learn more about that, but there's that what I don't know where the real energy is. Okay, so let's find a partner. Okay. Okay, now we're going. Okay, so, but that's not close. So that's what you know. You stand in a triangle. Okay, in other words, point base. If I stand a little too wide, a lot of the changes in Aikido, right? But what oftentimes when I knew that, what I don't know is I'm supposed to settle. Yeah, all of a sudden right there. Good grip. What I don't know, right there, is that I'm supposed to settle before I make my move. It gets fast after a while. If he's coming in real quick, then all of a sudden, boom. Right. But I get cut a little short. So, we start out slow. So what maybe we don't know is we settle. We find it good. And then, good. Now what we can do a little bit right there, turn your hip. Don't pull that back foot. Turn your hip. Now, a little longer with that back foot. A little longer. Okay, good. Now we're teaching you, so you know that. But it really comes off of what you don't know. Yes, feel the difference right there?
Okay.
So you're not just to the side of me. Stay where you are.
Okay.
You're behind me. You are now giving the orders. Okay? So one of the things after a while, what we know becomes a prison. So we learn to say, okay, I'm going to operate. I have to know something. But what I don't know. Okay, now, what you're doing is you're going back and forth in what you know. Settle. Okay, good. Yeah. Okay. It's a game. Essentially talks about heaven, earth, fire, water. Okay. But what we can say, I know this. So you're going to keep learning. But one of the most important things is to be able to shift into what you don't know. That's where the energy is. Okay, now like this. A little quick for it. So settle. This is flow. So yes. Now keep that. Now what you don't know right now is you settle. The weight settles under yes. Now you know that. But what you don't know is that there's a feel experience of it, which is always, it's also get rooting and growing. Okay, so after a while, Bruce Lee found, learning routines and everything's good, but you get robotic. So he said, well, I don't want to do that. I want to be free and fluid, and I have to know something. But then again, every situation, every person's different. Okay, now what we're doing here, I know the movement, but I don't know. What I don't know is where the aliveness is, right? That's where your key is. I know about key, good, I have to, guess what? I don't know. So right about here, for example, then all of a sudden everything starts to kind of come together right there. So after a while you learn stuff, but you don't, the knowledge of briefly discovered becomes a system. So I know it's good, I'm going to shift to what I don't know, when we call free, fluid, unpredictable. Okay, good. And if I stay with what I know, I get trapped. I gotta know more. That's right, and it helps for a while. Then all of a sudden that gets rigid. So, right? Okay, so keep going. Right. Okay, now one other thing. So that's pretty good. Right. Now you're starting to know, but the important thing, what I don't know. See, a lot of times, a lot of stress is we know what's going to happen, even though it's not going to happen, because we start to anticipate what's bad. We talk about stress. The world is very much that way. Oh, God, the war in Ukraine, there's Roe versus Wade in the Supreme Court, all that stuff, which could go in a very bad direction. What does that create? Stress. Right? But what you don't know, settle a bit. You don't have to be in the prison of that stress. Now, for now, I'm filling this in. But it's a while just settle. Oh, it's easy. You see what I mean? That becomes a prison. Okay, now you're timed. But you don't know. Your feet are on the ground. There's no liveness circulating through your system. You forget that when we go into a form. So easy, right? We start from there. Okay, good. Now do your movement. Now you just learned something, so it became knowledge. So, they're a little bit deeper. What we don't know is not ignorance. It really is, like I know awareness, the feel experience of it is ever new. Okay, right there, there's a smoother transition between what you know about the form and what you don't know. So after a while, you're winning over yourself. I know stuff, I get better at it, but it's too limiting. Okay? All right, keep going. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now, we're going to do a little bit. You're starting to know the form. What you don't know right now is just a fullness. If you miss the fullness, I'm like an NBA player. I know the plays. I know what I'm supposed to do. But when I get in the game, I get too tight. So Draymond Green has to say, look, kid, you got a lot of promise, but you're hurting us right now because you're open. You wouldn't be out there unless you had the talent. You see what I mean? Sort of open. Oh, like you're offering me something. You don't want to give it to me. It's something you want to offer me. That's a fullness. Okay? So what I don't know, I got the form, got the information. What I don't know is I'm supposed to have a fullness here. All right? I don't know that yet. Eventually I know that, so I can sort of do it. And it's added to the top one again. So after a while, we figure you're constantly deepening. It's what everybody's afraid of, right? Bruce Lee found it was an ally. So I don't want to know. I don't want a form. Yeah, I know all these forms. I'm Bruce Lee, but on the other hand, what is Bruce Lee? A robot, or is he somebody who's free, fluid, and predictable? So when it comes, okay, Bruce. There's more depth. There's this energy starts to move a certain way. You start to learn about it. After a while, okay. Then settle a little deeper, clear. Okay, so right about here. Now you're starting to learn. That's good. Now, what you don't know, all of a sudden you're relaxing, feeling your feet. Now you have that. Now turn your hips. Turn your hips before you pull the foot. You're pulling the foot to turn your hips and then pull the foot. And all of a sudden you're not just to the side of him, you're behind him. I'm giving you, he's giving me orders. Okay. All of a sudden there's a flip-flop and I'm in the CEO chair. And I'm going to be more, environmentally responsible and everything like that. And make this a better world. As opposed to just try to line my pocket. Okay, so settle in a bit. Yes, we're going to teach you stuff that you're supposed to know, but what you don't know, settle a bit. Oh, something's starting there just for that. Okay, now turn your hips. Don't step yet. Turn your hips. Now pivot. Okay, and if you look at yourself, it's the beginning. Stay where you are. Bring right feet over. Almost like in an NBA camp. Clumsy rookie. Valued rotation member. Maybe an all-star. Jordan Poole. We don't know about the last part yet. The story's too new yet. Okay? Okay, now, sort through the knowledge. Now you're supposed to turn your hips before you pull the foot. But when you settle into what you don't know, open your fingers. I don't want the ball. Give me the ball. If I get the ball, I'll make a mistake. Give me the ball. I know what to do with the ball. All right, now we're not a basketball player. I don't get paid $40 million a year. No. Extend your arms. That's what you don't know. You don't know that there's a fullness factor here, which the techniques are supposed to get you to. If you just say, I know the technique better, you get the booby prize. I know. Now, extend your arms. What? This is what drove Bruce Lee nuts. He closes his kung fu school not because he knows he's going to be an international, personality doing martial arts. He closes his school because he realizes it's like, I got a class, and when I teach a certain way, then everybody's copying me. They don't, and everybody is different. I have to approach you different than I do a bunch of the other people. Open your hands, extend your fingers, feel your feet, breathe a little fuller. You don't know that yet. That's good. When you know it, we got to take you to the next level of I don't know. Okay? So settle. Oh, now, remember, turn your hips and then a bigger pivot. Yes, yes. And that's good movement. You're always, as you get more advanced, it gets harder because you know too much. Okay? Yeah, I know that's crazy. Most people, I wish I knew more. Good. Anybody can teach you facts, but the way Bruce Lee put it, I can't teach you. All I can do is teach you to explore who you are. All right. Well, since they called it true emptiness. Okay. All right. Whatever. Okay. Okay. So we're kind of playing with a version of Senseis Bridge. He taught heaven, earth, water, fire. But we're just saying, there's what I know, what I don't know. And you have to know enough to let go of that and play with what you don't know. So I know center is important. But in this moment where I don't realize the center has some depth to it, it can't just be an idea in my head. I know my breathing is important. What I don't know I get a little Star Wars where the Force breathes. And as I get more fully with here, I start to pick up the breath movement. I start to pick up the fact that energy circulates and moves. Ki, so to speak. I can give it another name. He wants to come in this system. I can suspend him in that area between what he knows and what he doesn't know. Come on in. And I can introduce him to the fact, after a while, that's a pretty peaceful place. I was a Warrior fan before they got good, and I knew they were going to lose because they were awful. How I don't know. That's a better place. You see what I mean? I know they're going to lose. They're awful. I don't know. And everything is alive and in the moment. Right? So, you know, the whole thing is when I can balance the two, yeah, I'm going to continue to know stuff. But the more I know, the worse the world seems to be getting. The world's going to go its way. I can't help the world when I'm kind of caught up in that negative thought pattern. So, but I don't know. What I don't know is just important to cultivate. If enough people realize and knew that the power lies with the people, not with governments, not with political groups, it would be a better world. But we don't. We don't know that yet. Okay? So just back up. Everybody stand up, stretch the leg. What I don't know right here is if I settle and feel my feet, the flow starts. Then we add this. What I don't know yet is the fact that if I turn my hips a bit more, I take a bigger step back, and I'm not just to the side of him, I'm behind him. All right? He's giving the orders. if I relax, it's not that I'm giving the orders. We're listening to how energy is supposed to move here, and I'm kind of in the command position in that moment. Okay, so let's go one more time. Keep your partner, right? Yeah, one of the things we're kind of playing with, okay? But I don't know. I get the facts, I learn the form. But I don't know if it's really important to settle before. You see what I mean? And that's just a tip of the iceberg. So what you know the form. Now what don't you? Okay, good. You pick up the settle part. Yeah. Now you're in the command position for the moment. You got a better design than me who wants to hold on to power. You're saying, no, power should circulate, and it's always kind of free and giving. It has a center, a circle, a center. All right. So within that, that's something that's very difficult to teach. Bruce Lee closed his Kung Fu school, not because he was going to be an international movie star. He closed it because I can't teach formulas to people because that's what they want. Right? You can't know flow. I give those immense enough that you can't, for example, know it. But that place seems to be what you know, and you don't want to be caught up in, I don't know. It's what you know, what you don't. But you're in the field experience right here, so you're in that bridge or since they were talking about at some level of it. Okay? Okay? Got it? Okay. Okay, now you're starting to turn a little quick. Okay, so we're gonna go back over the first step. So triangle to triangle. There's a little bit of a form here. Okay, so let's just say right there, you're starting to learn the movement, but what you're forgetting or not knowing in the moment. Settle.
I have a tendency to try to rush.
Yeah, no, we all do. We all do. I'm just settle. Add the attachment right here. Now turn your hips before you pull that foot back and take a bigger step back. Now you're giving the orders. But you have a better sense of things than I do. I'm the person who wants to hold on to power, I'm the person who wants to hold on to power. I can make your life miserable. Settle a bit, do your blend. It's a trigger right there. Good. Now turn your hip before you pull the leg back. Okay, now, yeah, everything's kind of coming back. It flows out. The lesson is, he's not really there. He's play acting, though. Hold on firm. All you want to do is hold on to power. I'm saying, yeah, you're giving the orders right now. I'm going to give the orders, but I'm going to give them from a better place. It includes you and everybody else. You see the feeling right there? Because other than that, we learn all these forms. Okay, good. Now you got to let go of the fact you just learned that. And stand in which you don't forget that per se, but you're standing in which you don't know as well, which means it's vital and alive. Okay, good. Okay, so what? There's an aliveness there. Now, don't fall in love with that, and all of a sudden you become the person that they're trying to hold on to power. Right here, the power is it's forever circulating. It's, again, we have the power, and we give it up to stupid people, and their own companies, and ruining the world and all that stuff. Until we worry. Well, maybe if we start to hang out here, this starts to, because the power is just the people, right? The people on top, I mean, Russia, a lot of the people don't know what's going on because of, that's just the way the government controls the news. Okay, but it's getting out. You can't totally fool everybody all the time. Yeah. And, we put all our power into political people and everything. I'm not talking about revolution, other than this would be a peaceful one. Okay. I don't like the candidates, so let's everybody not vote and see what happens. Yeah, that person's not as bad as that person. That's what maybe I just say, look. I'm not going to open that article on Donald Trump because that gives him power. Yeah. I'm not going to give him another clip. But if everybody thought that, then all of a sudden, there would be change. Right? Well, since I wasn't really talking about, he was talking about, he said, Aikido's true democracy. Why? Because the power comes from us. So we give it away. Okay, so the Aikido says, but you can tune into here. You can change the way you think. I got to do that. I don't like A or B, but I just like B less than A. So I don't like either of them. I like either choice. So it's not really a choice, is it? Right. Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah. And everything is new. Everything is new and in the moment. That's what you don't know the time frame it is. I know it. I learned it in the past. I'm trying to make it work this moment. Well, maybe it doesn't apply here. So let go. What I don't know is more like what those Senseis called true emptiness. Yeah, you know stuff, but you're not locked in it. You're present. You're alive. Don't give your power away to a form. That's, I think, what Bruce Lee found. Well, since they put it differently, said there are no forms in Aikido because, quote unquote, it's a study of the spirit. There are no forms. And then he said there's a manifest world of form, the hidden, the world of energy movement, and then he called the divine, which is our true essence. And he says you got to have some of them. You got to know the world of form somewhat, but you don't want to get caught in it. The hidden realm is more like you start to feel energy. The divine realm is, as far as I can tell, is where you start to really, truly be you. And everybody there is you. You are you in your own distinct way. He's really new. I don't want to program him. I want to introduce him to knowledge in a way that, he keeps recirculating that knowledge is what he doesn't know, because in the process, he will find himself, or you will find you. For those who've been training for a while, some of the thing is those senses say you got to win over yourself. What does that mean? Well, it means, I'm like this. Well, process of letting go. And then what you don't know becomes an alive experience to complement what you know. You don't forget what you know, but in the moment, you open. And then we're standing on some level of his floating bridge. I talk about heaven and earth. That's a little too big for me. But I know what I know. And I also know that when I get too caught up in that, I get too programmed. And then I go, I don't know. I wake up one day like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with myself on this world here. Okay. Years ago, when the Warriors drafted Stephen Curry, I was a Warriors fan through total crap for years and decades. And they drafted him. I said, he's a really good player. It's too bad he's here where nobody will ever notice him because we're so bad. But somehow He didn't know that, or he brought some vitalness. So a horrible owner sold the team. The new owner brought in people who could make good basketball decisions. He brought in Clay and Draymond, and all of a sudden, free agents wanted to come here. And so we're still in that phase right now. But I suspect that, everybody told Mr. Curry, you're too small. You can't, you can do it in college, but you'll never do it on the big stage. And guess what? It's not like, some of that was determination, but he didn't know that. You can tell that about him. He takes shots from 40 feet mid-court. He doesn't know whether it's going to go in, but he does not know that he's going to miss. I'm not going to take that shot. I know I'm going to miss. I already missed. So somehow stretching ourselves to be truly who we are involves embracing what we don't know while retaining enough of what we know. Okay? So, we talk about a floating bridge. Yeah, I know that. I got to know where my feet go and everything. I got to know this and that. But increasingly, you start to say, what I don't know is really important. I'm just highlighting things that I normally forget, which is bad. But when I don't know them, they're vital nutrients and experiences. Okay? So that's kind of where we are right now. Okay. Okay, now we have a form here. So she's, what happened there? I sort of got more fullness to the body, so my hips started the movement. And I relaxed enough so that there was a connection happening. Now, if we keep turning the hip, we get this motion. But now I'm taking this foot, it's crossing in front of my other foot. Now right here, I'm running into a wall. But what do I don't know? I know my hips can rotate, create this, then I take that step. Then I have something. I'm taking that step too early. Rotate the hips, keep the extension, then take the step. We'll do this as a stretch. Not a throw yet. Keep turning the hip. I pivot and behind into the side. But it starts out the same. What I don't know is the fact that when I get it, relax, the body's full, I get my hip into that motion. Now I go here, instead of pushing, I'm going to rotate my hip before I take that step. It gives her a stretch. Okay? So give you enough knowledge that you could start to touch the don't know place with the aliveness and experiences. Okay? Let's change partner. Just a stretch.
Try to give it more. Yeah.
You feel the wall. Huh? You feel the wall here?
Right.
What do I not know? See, if I keep turning the hip, it becomes this motion. But if I go here, I know there's nobody out there. Or there could be a situation, somebody back there, and there's somebody back there, so maybe I need to do something right here. All right, that's why I essentially said there are no forms. But after a while, you know, spirit is very common sense, not abstract. I can't know spirit because when I go into my thoughts about stuff, I'm not in spirit anymore. I'm in my mind, the I mind, okay? So what I want you to see right here, now, right here, I'm going to push them, but I'm going to rotate my hips, then take that step, okay? The Senseis said, this is the obvious, but there's always a less obvious. I'm framing it this morning like, this is what I know, and this is what I don't know. And as opposed to that being an enemy, it's really an ally. Because that's where the aliveness and the experience exists, moment by moment. And what Bruce Lee found is, yeah, you know, your knowledge won't get you in trouble if you're in the moment with it. And it's a little different. You know? In this moment, it's a little different, isn't it? Right? Or in this moment, it's a little different, isn't it? Okay, I say yeah, okay, now. We make such a shrine out of what we know. You know, what we don't know is where the aliveness and the fighting is. It's moment by moment. There's a knowing going on, but it's not quote unquote, I know it. So I say, okay, let's press delete on that. You see what I mean? A little bit right there. That's why Bruce Lee closed the Kung Fu School. And not because I know I'm going to be an international movie star. I'm going to go to Hong Kong and forget these creeps that don't pay me enough money. But no, you know, I can't grow when I'm teaching a pattern to these people, which is what they want from me. For that reason, we'll close it. Doesn't mean, you know, stop teaching. It's just quote unquote that format he had just couldn't see them anymore. But we're all the better for it because a lot of his message got out. You know, other than that, we'd just be watching reruns of the Green Hornet on YouTube. But you know, he's kind of a symbol for people, like all Senseis to some degree. But if you're here, then obviously, you know, it would be sense of, you know, I'm going to go. I said, well, what was that? I don't know it. I don't know it. Did I learn all those things? Yeah, but you know, there's a point where I got to unlearn them in a moment too. Well, they're rigid. In the process, you know, I kind of want to be looser, freer, but I also want to have a good perspective on reality here. But the reality of it is there are deeper levels of reality where things, where the harmony exists. You see what I mean? All I do is run into people, they want the power and they're going to hold on to it. Well, you know, I'm in the control seat here and we're going to circulate the power. I ain't beat the CEO that's running the environment. I just said, look, you had an aha moment here. Now, you know, it's like Tony Stark in the first Iron Man film. God, I'm creating all these weapons that the terrorists are using. We're going to stop the weapons division now. Now. You see what I mean? Because Jeff Bridges represents the world. Oh, you got that arc reactor now. You got that best weapon ever. I want it. You don't have it. Because I know where that goes. Government subpoena. We want your arms. You can't have it. It's working. Right. I mean, you know, the superhero films are kind of a nice, you know, they follow a progression. They're getting kind of weirder, but whatever, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, one of the things about power is that there's a tendency, because people kind of have an ability to grab it. But then when they get power, they weaponize it. What does that mean? It means they use it for their own purposes. Usually they get more power, which means more wealth and more control. It's like the Iron Man films, and he creates this armor, and there's a whole bunch of evil people who want the armor. He says, you can't have it. I work for world peace. I know what you're going to do with it, so you can't have it. You know, so we're not Tony Stark, but, you know, there's an area where the superhero films kind of say, okay. The power is supposed to circulate. We, the people, are supposed to have the power. I don't want to feel like a revolutionary, but it's like they said, Aikido is true democracy. You're talking about the universe. We all come out of the universe, therefore the power of the universe is in everybody. They said, you know, anybody can do what I'm doing. It's just that all of a sudden we hold on to all this stuff. So we talked about misogi, cleansing. We sometimes say, okay, you're going to do ritual Japanese exercises. No, it's just a little bit like, okay, what I know, what I don't know. If I just stand on that bridge, which is, you know, you take what you know, you don't forget it. You don't, if you get a black belt, you don't forget your technique. But you realize after a while that that's turning you into a lesson you can be. So what I don't know, after a while, it becomes what I want to, you know, I want to hang out with, and that position myself between that and that. People who are too fundamentalist are a pain in the butt. So you don't forget that. But by hanging out between the two, you're fluid and alive in the moment. You find yourself. This one Bruce Lee episode where this blind guy wants Bruce Lee to teach him so he can't be bullied. And Bruce Lee says, I can't, the only thing I can teach you is to explore who you are. That's all I can do. I can, you know, tell him, no, I'm going to teach you how to, those people that wanted to beat you up, you're going to be now the person that beats them up. He said, no, I'm not going to do that. I won't do that. So finally, the guy has to say, okay, I want you to teach me how to drink from an empty cup. And he says, okay. That was good. So he, you know, starts teaching this blind guy in a TV episode about what Kung Fu is, but he's really teaching him about how to hang out. Okay, you got to learn the technique, but then there's what you don't know, where your spirit is. And so that was kind of the episode. It's called The Way of the Intercepting Fish. It was done in the early 70s. And his widow said, you know, that was probably his first successful film because he laid his philosophy out there. Okay, now what we're going to do here, what do I not know? Well, I don't know, for example, that I have a loose ground connection and it allows the hips to turn. I got ground, but it's too tight. But your feet are sinking into sand. Okay. The hips right there. Now, sometimes they'll say, you know, the little situation, maybe she's coming at me, so I need to move to the side a little bit. But I don't know. The second that foot moves, the hips are already in a position where they're rotating. What does that mean? This foot is also free. And that foot goes this way. And what I know is I always hit a wall. What I don't know is if I rotate the hips back, there's a movement. That can be very quick. It's called the clothesline movement. So we slow it down, step by step. You're supposed to get the knowledge but you're also supposed to say, okay, what I don't know is a feel experience that gives it meaning. Okay? We're all human. We're in this very contentious world. So it's really hard to find meaning these days, all right, between our lives and what's going on in the world. Big lesson there. Power is with the people. We haven't learned that lesson yet, so the world is the way it is. We don't want war. We don't want special interests. We don't want billionaires making all the money and we're kind of struggling to do whatever it is. We give our power away. So let's start a little bit more basic. Okay? Keep the same partner. Let's go into this stuff. Wait a minute. I'm not only trying to keep the power, I'm trying to keep you in your place. People like that are a real pain in the butt. So, okay, so what am I going to add? First of all, yes, you're trying to catch it, but you don't know right now, or you know it as words. Loose ground, what I feel like, you're at the beach, your feet are in sand, you're barefoot, you're in nature, it's healing. No, you're not. You're right in the middle of Silicon Valley with all this insanity going on. But you can travel in energy. Good. Now, you start to rotate your hip because your back foot is free. Now, you move a little bit to the side so you don't, I want to keep you down. Okay? If I'm Trump, I want DeSantis in his place. I don't like either of them, but, you know. Okay, good. See that? All of a sudden, I can't, you know, and I might play games, okay? Like, you know, I don't want so-and-so to be the governor of Georgia because of da 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 da. I know that. So I'm not like this. I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna. Okay, good. Now your back foot moves, and then the second it touches, the hips rotate. Good. Now I can't. The Attorney General, you didn't support me, so I got it out for you. See, I can't, in some sense, keep you down. Now, it may take you a little bit more than this, okay? But, you know, you give me straight line power. Maybe I can't do it, but I can move over here. I can move over here. I can move over here. Warriors did, you know, what was their first move? They drafted Curry. And then they drafted Thompson. Then they drafted Draymond. And they were so good. Iguodala and Kevin Durant wanted to play for them. It took them a couple of moves. Did we know any of that was happening? No. Not at all. Strength in numbers. So go again. Come on. Good. Good. Yeah. Now you just learned a bunch of stuff. So you're at another level of don't know. You see what I mean? We can say, you know, what is true? What is emptiness? Let's just say, emptiness is freedom. It's non-attachment. If you come to grab, okay, we can do other things if we need to. Right? You know, if you go this way, well, we can do other things, but we can go that way. Okay? You come in this way, go this way, or I can change it to something else, or I can go this way, or I can go this way, I can go this way, or I can go this way, or I can go this way, I can go this way. Okay. Do I know any of that stuff? No. I don't want to know it because when I know it, I get sick. It's the exact opposite. of what we think. And I know it, I'll be in charge. Yeah, that's right. You'll be somebody who's like that. I don't want to be that way. But there's not a great role model. I think the person who should be president of the United States is Steve Kerr. He understands, you know, what's wrong with the guns, which is a major issue. All right. You might not agree with his politics, so you will. I don't know. But, you know, he's the only guy that he got his head, he just spoke out what a lot of people don't want. And what did Trump do? He goes to the NRA meeting and talks about guns and doesn't choose. He's an idiot. So we give people like that power. You know, whether you agree with him or not, he's a horrible role model. Unless you think the whole system is so bad, you might as well have a jerk like him in charge. Some people have given up, you know. Okay, so I'm gonna finish on that. Whatever, come on, I'm in this one, but what don't I know? I don't know that when I kind of, my feet settled into the sand, my hips free up, and all of a sudden we have a movement. Okay. No, it's just, yeah, what you don't know is it's really right here. But we dismiss it because we give all our power away to reform. And so part of what, you know, standing between what you know and you don't know, it's the fact that you're kind of, you're conscious. Right? If you grab my wrist and hold firm, okay, then I got to remember. That's the first step, is to kind of be easy where I am. Okay. 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 All right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to, you know, not make what I don't know something that's immense and not achievable. It's just fluid with what you know. It's a step. So what's really funny about me is I play some music, and you know I can listen to, you know, like Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie, Miles Davis. They do some crazy riff. I can play it, but you ask me to learn a song, it takes me forever. It's really funny that way. My mind, you know, I mean, it's like, okay, I'm very comfortable with what I don't know. Okay. What I know, oftentimes I kind of, I don't know that yet. Easy. So, you know, there are areas in all of this where we need to practice some more. Okay. I'm not saying that, you know, I'm sure O-Sensei had his areas where he wasn't an O-Sensei. You see what I mean? Yeah. I mean, one of his students, a man named Wada, was a calligraphy teacher. And so O-Sensei at some point looked at him and said, you know, I like your calligraphy. Teach me. So Abe Sensei became O-Sensei's calligraphy teacher. He actually became a student to one of his students. In fact, you know, we have that, those of you who were at the old dojo, we got that big scroll, Aikido. That's the original O-Sensei calligraphy. Because there was some vandalism where we were. I had it moved, so it's now temporarily at Aikido Santa Cruz. Since the holiday center, he would watch it. I said, thank you. Because I don't want somebody to go under and deface that or take it. Okay. But the point of it is, well, since they would say, yeah, I want to do calligraphy, teach me. Ultimately, O-Sensei's teacher, you know, he had Takeda from Daito Ryu, he had Iguchi Sensei from Omoto-kyo, but the universe taught him. Here's the student of the universe. You can call that ki, or you can call it whatever you want to call it. Ki tends to move in yin yang, fire, water, heaven, earth. Izanagi, Izanami. You know? So he would describe the universal movement in terms of Shinto gods and goddesses. And Shinto was actually very much more of a nature-based religion, therefore it is more the goddess than the other one. Okay, that's what attracted both Mary Heine Sensei and Linda Holiday Sensei. He kind of made Aikido their lives, okay? So we're kind of in, you know, like, okay, we come out of nature. What I forget a lot is, for example, you know, moving the hips, I have to get the proper feeling in the feet. What is proper feeling in the feet? You're standing at the beach. Why? Because your feet kind of sink in. Like to play games where, you know, people kind of dig a hole and they kind of bury you in the sand, and you're unless they do it too much, you're pretty cool with it, because nature is enveloping you. Games in nature are really cool. Like I have a special relationship with the Nachi waterfall. I hadn't been there in years, you know, and then I went this one day, and the falls have to be really full. Can't remember what year I went. But all of a sudden, you know, there was this spray that was coming out of the fall. And I'm standing at a platform, so I'm pretty close to it. And then, you know, it's almost like I can see hands coming out of the spray, touching my hand. So the spirit, you know, coming is maybe, it's not that. Kami is nature. Kami is what's natural. Kami is what's really truthful. That's what we're saying a lot of times. Okay, by the time I make it into something too structured, I've lost it. So it's a little bit more like what I don't know, and I want to stay with it, because that's where the aliveness is, constant self-discovery. That's where our power is as the people. Well, since I said Aikido was true democracy, he was talking about the universe. We all come out of the universe. The power of the universe, which he talked about, flows through all of us. But we give it away. We give it away to a technique. We give it away to a movement. We give it away to a power figure. We give it away to even a political movement. Now, there are movements I support. I don't like the Supreme Court decision to be about Roe versus Wade. And I'll be very, very, because, you know, it's different. We shouldn't tell women, most of us are men here, what to do with their bodies. Why? Because in a lot of ways, you know, the actual whole Shinto base of nature comes out of the feminine. And times change. So right now, it's like there's a freedom, choice. And when you get legislation, you may disagree with me on that, which you're welcome to do. But it's like, I find it abhorrent that this is where we are. And then power figures want more power, so they attack nations. It's insane. The war, there are people on both sides dying because of ego. It's tragic. And that can paralyze you. I know that, but what I don't know. I didn't know that when the Warriors drafted Stephen Curry, this is going to happen off of it. So there's always hope. It's the right. See, the person is not one Messiah. The person is everybody. We have to all come to that collective realization that we have the power. Okay? And having the power, we choose harmony and love over trying to hold on and get more power. Then we have a true democracy as the universe intended us to have. That was no Senseis message. He called it Aikido. Okay? Okay, up, just the legs. So, say he grabbed, okay, what I just did was a different move. So we're going in. Let's just step back. First of all, what I don't know when I'm just in the form is I have to kind of settle and open. So right from where you are, imagine you're at the beach. Not just a thought imagine, but an imagined feel. Your feet are kind of somewhat sinking into the sand. You have a loose, easy base and you're in nature. If you're too stressed, during the pandemic, it was bad because nobody wanted to drive, so you're stuck. But your imagination, you can be anywhere you want. I can be at Nachi with the mist from the falls kind of rejuvenating me. It's just a matter of journeying through your imagined feel experience, which is what you don't know. Okay? So right about here. So I'm going to cover that motion. My hips are going to rotate freely. Now, I'm trying to push down and he's pushing back. Okay, I'm just going to send him forward. Okay. Cover that motion. See, I can keep going this way. Where is this now? I'm feeling my feet sinking into the sand. And I'm letting go with a lot of the stress that keeps me trapped. I know, but it's not enough. Okay, don't get into what I don't know. Okay. Now some of you are new. So we're gonna trade places. He gets to sit in the CEO chair. Step back. Right here, I'm going to bend my knees and I'm going to touch the ground. As he comes forward, I'm going to stretch out. My belly touches before my face. If my face touches first, that was the original intent on the battlefield. This is all stuff that was designed to defend against people with blades and armor. I don't want to have any of you hit your head or land on your shoulder. You touch with your free hand. And then I'm going to put my knees down and my belly is going to touch before my face or shoulder. You put the arm down, it's 90 degrees, keep the grip. I'll extend the torso, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Thank you. And tap, receive, push. Receive, stretch. Okay, let's change partners. So touch the ground, touch the ground. Now stretch out. You're going to put your knees down with the support of your hand. Your belly is going to touch before your shoulder or your face. So stretch out. Yeah, that's it. That's safe. If you were to do this unexpectedly to an attacker, they don't know how to do that, so they're probably going to hit their head or down on their shoulder. You see what I mean? You can practice it extremely safely. It's like a safe form of two-person yoga, or you can really damage somebody. And people don't realize that latter one. That's why we're responsible. You could do this extremely well, but like, for example, here, I'm going to go back. Okay. First thing I want to be able to do is to start to apply the technique. I'm going to bend my knees, because if I don't, I go this way. And then when it finally works, I bang my knees, maybe I hit my head, and you know, why? Because it was designed to work through the samurai armor in the 17th century. You don't want that person to get up, right? But you know, on the other hand, you know, you're going to teach people that, and you don't want everybody hurt, so you have to teach them how to receive the movement. And then, you know, at some point, you know, the whole thing came up with, you know, just the fact that, okay, now what are we going to do? Well, okay, we're not on the battlefield with weapons and armor, so we're going to teach the techniques as body art in the public. So of course you have to, you know, it changes a bit. Okay, but you see how it's real important for you to bend your knees, put that down so you can stretch. Don't bang your knees. I mean, first line of defense, somebody hits your knees on concrete, they're done. You know, but on the other hand, you can hurt yourself here. So, you know, the exact way of receiving that motion is, you know, do you understand what I'm talking about? Yeah. Okay. Okay, now, if you keep extending, you can freeze up. Okay, now what do you do there? Now you work the elbow, not the shoulder. But you don't, if you're on the elbow, you're above it. Now watch out for the wall, because that was the older movement, okay? I throw the person, I'm not going to really do it, but I'll put him over here and put his head into the wall. He's not going to bother you. Okay, this stuff is not safe because it's harmless. It's safe because he understands how to receive it. Okay, now here, I can work here, but you know, like thumb, rather close here, elbow, it's right above it. Now, what do I do here? Like, boom. There's two approaches. One, it's a thrusting motion. That's really abrupt. So in class, what we tend to do, you keep rotating the hips, keep feeling your feet in the sand, and you walk them that way. Okay. The movement itself, he comes in this direction. He doesn't know how to do that. He's going to land on his knees, hit his shoulder, bang his head. He probably won't get back up. That's what he's designed to do on the battlefield, but not in the battlefield. Okay? Battlefield for us is standing in that place between what we know and what we don't know. It's not a battlefield. It's where we learn how to navigate. And, you know, not Senseis Bridge, but it is a bridge. Yeah. Yeah. So one of the things, for example, here, what do? Well, first of all, we extend it out, then we just walk. Yeah, that's good. Now move your arm out so you don't land on your arm. If you land on your arm, a couple of years ago, somebody did a stupid move and Stephen Curry fell on his wrist, he broke it. We don't want you to do that. Move your arm out here. Okay, the world has lessons. So if he's coming in this direction, then right here, boom, goes out that way. This way. It allows the thrusting motion. Now here, I'm still extending out, but I'm making it a little more gradual. There we go. Okay? Okay? All right. And now, before you take that step, trust. And then walk. Come on, then walk. Yeah. Okay. Let's look at a slight change. Okay. What he's going to do, instead of grabbing this, he's going to grab my shoulders. Okay. Now, this is important. Most of the time, we're not going to be in a triangle. We do this. Most of the time, we're going to be this way. He's going to grab the center, the chest area. See what I mean? When he pushes, I'm off balance. Maybe he knocks me to the ground, and then finishes me off on the ground. Push the tax and sulfur that way. But, for example, here, in this position, the shoulder, so, you know, I mean, if you're in a bad situation, it doesn't look like you're getting ready to do anything. Okay, right. The triangle is important. But now we're going to work the shoulder instead of the wrist. We still do that. Why? Because I just go for this. He goes for that. So we just draft. Now here I go this way. He's going to finish off. But you keep your feet. They're sinking into the sand. And you feel your way here. So thumb finds some, palm finds the back of the wrist, the hand, and then you close on the little finger. So he's big, he's strong. I go, I can't do anything. So you turn your hip before you turn the wrist. This frees this hand up. You still a wall. Okay. It's a thrusting motion. Not a twisting motion, it's a thrusting motion. But when you do it that fast, the person probably can get hurt, but we explain how to receive it. So a little bit less of a dramatic movement. Again, right here, turn the hip first, come on in, hit it, and turn the wrist. I'm not on top here. I'm feeling my feet sinking into the sand. It's still going out. Now right here, that finishing movement, I don't go this way. Take it more gradually, but it's still a thrust, not a push. It takes a lot of work because I understand it, I know it, but my information is incomplete, so I think of it as a push. Right now. It's a thrusting movement. This is designed to work on the battlefield through samurai armor. You didn't want the person to get up. If they did, you're in trouble. Okay? Here, we're not in the battlefield. The battlefield is standing between what you know and what you don't. It's more individual work. Feel your way here. Thumb first, palm second. Little fingers third from the little finger. Turn your hip before you turn the wrist. And this hand goes to the elbow, older style. Strike through the arm into the armpit. I'm going to hurt myself. Boom. Now here, I get carried away and push down. There it goes out. But more gradually. Okay? So let's keep the same partner. We're going to change the target from wrist to shoulder. Okay? Yeah. One of the things about it, okay, is that whole pattern is a thrust pattern. And we tend to want to make it flat. Okay. Top to bottom. I'm going to throw it. Now, if you grab the tip, good. Yeah, good. Give it up there. It's kind of fun. That's strong. Those are all thrust movements, but they're, there's patterns that set the thrust up. And movements like boom, boom, boom. If you kind of come into thrust, just like boom, 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 boom. That's all very much like, these movements that they do. Oh, it's thrust motion. Modern Aikido is kind of taught like it's a sword move, which of course the sword has an up down to it. Entering, turning. Okay. So the whole thing is designed to be, all right, that's that motion. You find out something. Okay. You see how that, whatever the movement happens to be, okay, good. Well, think of that one. If one thing doesn't work, well, just read and go the other way. And that doesn't work, you go another move. If you happen to go this way, okay. Boom, 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 boom. Be back there, Sensei, there was this swirling vortex of energy that came out of the love and the harmony. You come attack him, he says, okay. Right? It's not power the way people want it. They want to hold on to it. That's why I do a lot of grabs, because we're working on yourself. I'm not trying to contain you. I'm trying to listen to you better. Right? Right? Okay. Whew. Okay. Now sometimes, actually, personally, I do a lot of work with this sort of motion this way. Right? Do I know what I'm doing? No. There are certain things where, we actually work a set, in the set, but you also, okay, but you increasingly stand in what you don't know. Boom, 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 boom. Okay? So one of the things, okay, boom, 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 boom. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to know. I don't. I don't want to know. Boom, 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 boom. Don't want to know. I just want to let the movement continue to show me more about what I don't know. Now, on the other hand, you may not want to be quite there. So I'm trying to say, okay, this is how you start the movement. But when you know it, there's always some level that you don't know. It'd be easy there because that's where you find you. That's where you find the aliveness of you. And if you get caught up in your knowledge, you miss who you are. Again, what Bruce Lee said, I can't teach you anything. I can only teach you to explore you. Sensei said, there are no forms in Aikido because it's a study of the spirit. What does that mean? You are spirit. When you're in the moment, standing between what you know and what you don't. So if we go this way, boom. Whatever the movement happens to be, boom. It's created in the moment through you. Now that may take you a little bit, but that's kind of what I think of it. So I do a lot of work by myself because I don't know what I'm doing. I pick a horn up, I'm horrible with song. but I can improvise. Whatever it is, okay, da, 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 da. Now let me learn a new song, I'm hopeless. So I got a lot of work there. There are areas where you're gonna really get this, and there are areas where you say, maybe that's not my predilection. Okay, and that's allowable. There's probably areas where Sensei was no Sensei. Okay. Well, you're in what you don't know, you're free. Well, no, I'm not free, I don't know it. So be easy there. Be easy there. There's a transition, if you can this way, from form. Oh. To something else. Where together, you and your partner, we're exploring spirit. He's more the receptive side of the experience, and I'm more not the positive, but the complementary other half of that. Ultimately, what you really want is a receptive. Oh, somebody asked me those things once, what would it be like to be like Sensei? And the Sensei said, well, it would be like being uke for the universe. Yeah, you're doing movement, but really you're just receiving these flows that come out of the universe. Huh? There's fun there. Well, I could name them and I could do them better. But increasingly, I want to stand in that place. You don't forget what you know, but you start to stand more and more with that connected to what you don't know. And where you're positioned on that bridge. And that's where the aliveness is, that's where we really truly are, who we are. Okay? And Sensei's Aikido was an illustration of that. He wasn't a form teacher when we see him with the beard and everything, but he was trying to teach, for example, other things rather. Right? Here we could catch rooms and right? Or we can go here. I'm doing form here, but right here, I'm just hitting this wall here, but I'm going to stand on the beach and feel my feet. Okay, the tide's coming, it's going to go back up. And therefore, the movements follow the harmony of a natural progression of change within the universe. If I know too much, I get too caught up in my own stupidity. And you can be very, very successful there. But you won't be your true nature, which is kind of that fluidity. Bruce Lee was into power. He was into liberation, being free, having choices. And being free means you're free of your ignorance, so you put your choices behind positive things. We become more loving, become more supportive. Draymond Green doesn't yell at Stephen Curry to give him the ball. He's one distributes that screens. Without him, the key of the Warriors doesn't circulate as well. Curry hurts his ankle. He gets 9 assists. He helps the ball move. Builds up other team members. Community building. It's not about being it's about being a part of the whole and realizing the whole is inside you. I can't do that off of just what I know. And ultimately, Sensei said it's all about this, which we lose when we get too caught up in that or too afraid of that. And things like courage. The other person, I talked about would be Zelensky. He's a comedian, Chaplin-esque, who played the president of the Ukraine in the sitcom. Now, guess what? 3 seasons, Act 4 is a war, and he's president. He's a wonderful example. Courage, taking a vision and going past what most people would go with it. Okay, so he's the case, you know, servant in Russian, sluga naroda is servant of the people. That's the way it's translated. But it's sluga narodu, which means servant to the people. You are of the people and you serve the people. So that's a little bit of what Osensin meant. I'm sure he would love Zelensky. Servant to the people, coming of the people. And the point is, we can all be that somewhat. We can all be the Stephen Curry that makes things change. I can't be that because you may not make 50 million a year and be in Subway sandwich commercials and CarMax and Bitcoin. But he's made gender equality a big thing. He's initiated programs so that Black Americans can raise their station in this society. Eventually, hopefully, you're not going to see him just on the basketball court. He might be a Zelensky. He's a leader, but a quiet leader. And he leads in the right direction. Okay. Let's move. I watch videos and I'm thinking, God, I need a director and a producer. I know I'm supposed to extend and push him over. What I don't know is we're both part of an energy flow. And that flow always works yin to yang, yang to yang. And he starts out being very yang here. He's a person with a power. But I can understand that I also have power, and the power flows both ways. That's the lesson of IQ. We share. Okay, so here. Okay, so let's end with that basic two-hole motion. Okay? You want to give me your stick so you don't fall on it, okay? During years, I didn't think the Warriors do anything to maybe they made the playoffs. Now I don't think that anymore. Everything's a scale. One thing about Curry, he probably dreamed of it. It's like Zelensky, you know? He does a sitcom. Did he do that to become president of the Ukraine? Probably not. But all of a sudden, you know, he began to realize, you know, that this country needs some changing. The world needs some change. All of a sudden, boom. And, you know, it's interesting that the Russian is translated servant of the people, but the Russian is really sluga narodu, not naroda. You know, some Russian servant to the people, but he was of the people, serving to the people. It's about a circulation of energy, right? Of the people, dominated and the president. No, so he writes a right to work. People wave at him, he waves back. That's the whole idea, you know. He got elected. Founded his whole political party off of that show. I don't know that he started out with the idea he was going to be president. He just started to play the role and think, you know, this country really, what I stand for in the sitcom the country needs. So we'll give it a go. He won 70%. So right about here. So you never know. So some of this is about self-empowerment. So go again. Yes, bigger. Without training, bigger. You have a, country knows you because you took your stupid little team to the Elite Eight. Now you're in the NBA. Yeah, bigger. You would dream too small. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. Now what we're going to do a little bit. This whole thing is about, on one level, it's about the hips rotating. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do, he's going to have the position of the tower. Yeah, I'm just going to fall back. No, I'm going to actually on my side. Okay, right? Now, why? Because when I get up, I have to rotate my hips to get back into position. So what does that do when I'm held? I rotate my hips. So one of the things, when he throws you, not just the back, but the position away from him. Over there. And therefore, when you're getting back up, you're rotating the hips, which teaches you how to do it when you're getting held. Stupid little thing. On the other hand, is consistent. You don't know that yet. So now you're filling that in a little bit. And then after you get back, there's more that you don't know. Well, you don't want to know. Okay. You don't want to know. I mean, that's okay. Yeah. Actually, do the following. That's important. Now, on your back, now on your side. Good. Now, get back. You see the hips are rotating. Okay, now do the other side. Good. Now, good. Now, have you. Now, it starts this way. This is the trigger. Light and easy. Light and easy. Now, rotate the hips like you did when you were getting back up. Turn your hips. Okay, yes. Okay. Kevin Curry by himself is really great. He's got Draymond backing him up. He's got Kevon Looney. There are things that he can do. But then again, he's got teammates that specialize. And they're all strength in numbers. That's why the Warriors are a great model. All right. Yeah. Okay, that's good. You see how the role of calling and the role of throwing becomes very close. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So, just a quick recap. What is it like to be in that position? You know stuff. You don't want to forget it. But you also have to realize at a certain point, what you kind of create a prison. A lot of people learn how to be pretty good. But then there's that next level, isn't there? And then you get to be very good. And there are other levels. What I really respect about, for example, Stephen Curry, is he keeps growing. I can watch him now. It's harder for him. He's 34 years old. He's 40 years younger than I am. He's 10 inches taller. Not that that's anything at all. But yeah, I sense how much harder it is for him now. But he operates within that. What he doesn't know, his game is still very fresh. And, in the playoffs, he got the MVP of the Western Conference, first year it's been offered. Why? Because he can close games out. The shot might not be falling, but he goes to hoop and gets fouled, and he gets a shot. When everybody wants to really jam him up out there, So he drives to the hoop, he will make a good pass, or he'll go to the hoop and finish, or he gets fouled, and he doesn't miss from the free throw line. He's a leader. But he's not respected. Most people want some giant, athletic, young. He's not young anymore. He's a lot more athletic than people think. It works to his advantage. He's small. But he promotes the strength in numbers. Okay, I'm not saying he should run for political office, but I think he'd do probably a better job than the people now. And take Steve Kerr with you and change the world. Okay? He's the first athlete that listened to women when they said, we don't have our own basketball shoes. Okay. I'm going to talk to Under Armour about that. Now there are basketball shoes for women players. They have to kind of deal with them. And he was the first guy who taught camps for women. Yeah, if we don't have our own camps, okay. See, that's what it means to be a servant to the people, of the people. You create strength in numbers. It's not about the basketball team. It's about a model for turning this world around. Okay? And so what we're doing here, hopefully, it's a little bit like, I didn't know when they drafted this kid in 2009, he was going to change basketball, but he did. So I don't know that teaching these classes is going to change the world, but it might. I don't know, that Zelensky thought I'm going to do this sitcom to be a Chaplin-esque comedian being president of Ukraine would make him the president of the Ukraine, but it did. That's power. And it comes out of the people. But Sensei was a servant to the universe. And of course, we all come out of the universe, so he's a servant to us. Now, that's one of the messages of Aikido. And what binds that? Well, there's a natural process of that we edit out because everybody on top wants power and wealth. Okay? And so he created Aikido as true democracy. He also said something interesting. He says that economics is the basis of society. I can't do anything. I don't earn enough money. I don't run a corporation. Okay. Guess what? Aikido San Jose is incorporated. I'm the president. I'm not making any money. In fact, we're losing money, but that's another way. Right. On the other hand, doesn't mean anything. You're looking at a CEO here. Yes. Okay. So, don't give your power away to title, techniques, media figures. I would like Stephen Curry if he wasn't the star of the Golden State Warriors, because I think he has a certain sort of truth to him. He treats people, young people, old people, poor people, rich people, but he's really good on gender equality. Did LeBron James do that? No. He's too busy selling jerseys and, but Curry, listen. He funded the golf program at Howard University because he just realized that, if you grow up in the Black minority, you stay there. And the golf is just a way of opening social doors. Now, the next thing for him to do is probably to look at the homeless and, I don't know if he'll ever get there, but, he's taking one step at a time, which is all you can do. But we can be that way. We're not necessarily going to make 50 million a year and start doing CarMax and Bitcoin and all that stuff on TV, but humble beginnings. President Zelensky on a sitcom. All of a sudden, president of the Ukraine. Example for the whole world. Okay? The aliveness there is a loving aliveness. We work together. We're working at strength in numbers. And that part of it is really lost. I mean, you can divide, I'd rather do jujitsu. Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. Nothing wrong with it. But the idea is a little different. If you're here, hopefully, you know, that whatever came through today kind of reaches out to you because we're special. And I remember the days when I used to wear my Golden State Warrior t-shirts, everybody laughed. They don't laugh anymore. All right. Took one guy that didn't believe all this criticism, prompted a change in ownership, change in decision-making personnel. There was a magnet, the gravity drew in the other all-stars. And, you know, we can all be that to some level in our own world. And if enough of us get the ideal message, we can change the world. The way Zelensky has demonstrated it. And, you know, that's something that sometimes is lost. Senseis did this because he wanted the world to be better. He wanted to be better himself. He wanted us to be better. Okay? So when we do that, we realize when you're on the mat here, you are a part of something special. You're part of his enlightenment, his love, his circle of love, which is universal. And when we get that, then all of a sudden, what happens is we get that power that is available to all of us. I'm just here to help us educate a little bit. I know a little bit about it. I wish I could do more. But I think in his own way, Sensei was very humble. He was a servant to the universe, a servant to the people. Again, I took Russian years ago, so I understand the difference between Sluga Naroda and Sluga Narodu. It took me a while, but that's Russian. Why is it an U instead of an O? And I got the message, the servant to the people. Okay. Hey, thank you very much. So I don't walk out. I walked out with a couple of weeks ago.